No, Daniel, I'm sure you wouldn't. I agree with you. Mutual respect is very important. Then he whispered in my ear, but just to make things easier for your poor mother, maybe you could pretend a little respect. I giggled and he gave me a wink. That made me feel so grown up that I decided to try it. Not that I could always control myself, but after that, my mother visited Mr. Schneider every month or so, instead of every week. I stare at the next page and the next picture. Uncle Peter took this one 2 days after my birthday. It shows my father's hardware store. My father had a very successful business. People came to his store from all over, not so much for his merchandise, but for his advice. He knew how to fix anything, and always took the time to show the people who came in what the best tools would be for a specific job. There was also a large section of household items like pots and pans and knives, and he would discuss the advantages of one over another with his customers, as seriously as if they were deciding the fate of the world. That's why his customers would never consider shopping anywhere else, even if the price was a little cheaper. My mother worked in the back of the shop, doing all the accounting. I stare at the picture. Across the front window, written in large letters, is the word Jew. I still remember when I first saw it. I was so confused. Jew. What was wrong with that? I went to a regular public school, and most of my friends at school weren't Jewish. But that didn't matter. It was just a different religion. We lit candles on the Sabbath and went to synagogue. A Reform synagogue where the service was mostly in German, and celebrated Jewish holidays. They celebrated Christian holidays. So what? But that day, there wasn't only writing on the window. There was a stormtrooper. Father said he was called a brown shirt because of the brown shirt of his uniform. And he was standing outside the door of the shop with a gun. I had to run there to help in the store, and then I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I thought that maybe the stormtrooper would shoot me if I got close. He looked so mean. And then Mrs. Warner came around the corner. She walked very slowly because she had to use a cane. She walked up to the man and said, "Excuse me, please." The brown shirt looked at her and replied, "All Jewish shops are being boycotted. You can't go in there." Mrs. Warner tapped his boot with her cane. "Now you listen to me, young man. I walked a long way to get here. I'm 90 years old. Don't you tell me what I can and can't do." And the brown shirt stepped aside. I ran up to her and took her hand, and we went in together. "Daniel," my father cried. "Mrs. Warner, you shouldn't have come. He might have hurt you." "Nonsense," she replied, and then went about her business. All she had needed was a light bulb. I think back to that incident now, and I wonder if the madness could have been stopped then. What if Father's regular customers had insisted, like Mrs. Warner, on being allowed in? Mrs. Warner wasn't Jewish, and she didn't care that we were. But how many people had the courage to walk up to a young man holding a gun? What if he should shoot? The next day, the brown shirt was gone, and Uncle Peter came to the store to take the picture. As we stood in the street gazing at the shop, I asked him to explain what was happening. "Have you heard of a man called Adolf Hitler?" Uncle Peter said. "Of course," I replied, insulted. "Who is he?" "He is Chancellor of Germany," I replied. "Yes, Daniel, you mean Chancellor. Appointed by President Hindenburg. His party, the National Socialist Party, they are called Nazis, has lots of seats in parliament. Hitler has changed the constitution so that now he rules us. He can do anything he wants, Daniel, and the German people are happy to let him. They think he can solve all their problems of unemployment and that he can stop the fighting. I nodded knowingly. I'd seen people fighting in the streets. But why won't they let people shop in our store? I asked. That's a good question, Daniel. Hitler wants someone to blame all of Germany's troubles on, and he's decided it will be the Jews. And anyone else that isn't a pure German of the Aryan or master race. I've heard they've opened up camps. They call them concentration camps, where they're putting all his enemies, communists, socialists, gypsies, Jews, anyone who disagrees with him, and anyone he doesn't like. And they are making sure everyone has heard of these camps, so people do not protest for fear of getting arrested too. But, I said, how can everyone love him so much if he's so mean? I thought of the huge rallies Father had told me about, where tens of thousands cheered Hitler, and of the torchlight parades I'd seen many nights, in which his followers would march through town singing. I often felt like running out and joining the parades. They always looked so exciting. People think he will make Germany strong again, give it back its dignity. Come, let's go help your father wash that sign off. The boycott of Jewish stores lasted only 3 days, and, like any 6-year-old, I quickly forgot all about it and went back to my happy life. My mother and father must have started to worry then, but they hid it well, and I had other things to worry about, such as whether or not I would make the school soccer team, and if I could convince Father to buy me the beautiful model car that was displayed in the shop window next to his.